Okay, so answering viewers, or answering viewer. This one's coming from Jimmy Whisper, who he asked a question I hadn't thought of, and I think he sort of answered his own question, and I'm going to try to explain it best that I can. But what he says is, he asks, what are your thoughts on the new IWGP heavyweight belt? And for those that don't know, IWGP stands for International World Grand Prix, which is under the house of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Shinniho Pro Wrestling. So, okay, he says, I know everyone hates they canned the old title and began a new legacy, but I think it was the right call. The old IWGP heavyweight had many horrible champions, especially in recent years. For every Keiji Muto, there are 10 unworthy men. I think a reboot was in order. The belt started out rough with Ospreay's injury, but I feel they recovered really well with Shingo and now Okada. The belt currently is more prestigious than the previous belt had been after Olivier. And for those who don't know who Olivier is, that would be Kenny Omega. And his friends held it. Okay. I think I'll just do this in order, and you're probably not gonna like what I have to say, because I would like to agree with a whole lot, but there are things that stop me from agreeing or even disagreeing. I'm just in the integer world. I'm at zero. I would say, not unless I say something that proves I should be negative or positive. So here we go. So my thoughts on the new, the new title. It's a belt. They got it. In terms of appearance, I like the very old one, the one Hashimoto and Keiji, Chono, Sasaki, all of them, the one that they wore. I like the way that looked. And they canned the old belt. Okay. They hate it. If the people that hate that they dropped the old title, the way it looked and stuff, I understand because appearance is a lot, but it's just a belt. Okay. In general, it's just a representation of the flagship of the company. So getting a new design is not bad, but you also want that design to look like something someone should fight for. You should design your belt in a way that looks, somebody says, I might want to steal that. That's how you want your belt to look. If your belt looks, like a buttered down butterfly, then they'll be like, well, it's representing. That's about it. Now, he says the old title had horrible champions, especially in recent years. And a reboot was in order. A new belt doesn't mean a reboot. It can't. And you've answered that already. You've answered that nothing changes. The belt started off rough with Ospreay's injury, but recovered well with Shingo and now Okada. The belt currently is more prestigious than the previous belt had been with. No, it's not. It's not more prestigious. Look, I want you to think about this. Them changing a belt is like you changing clothes. You're still the same person. All of your history is still there. You just got on some different clothes. If you want to put on a suit and feel that you're more important and that you're entitled to certain things and people should be gathering around you, okay, there's a new attitude, but your history is still there. And even though it's a reboot, if it was an actual reboot, if it was an actual new thing, then what New Japan would do and what you would do is erase all of those champions from memory. They would not be there. You would not be able to compare any of them. And from the way I see it, how is it a reboot when Okada dominated the old title and now he's going to dominate the new title? Nothing has changed. It's still Okada. There's no one new. Nobody. I'm not a Will Ospreay fan in terms of what he does in the ring. I haven't watched him in maybe 3 months. But at the same time, he was new. And his in-ring performance had changed a bit. I saw him on New Japan Strong. And if he adopted more of an actual traditional heavyweight fighting style and not all the flippy-floppy crazy mess, he would be somebody to fear and to draw eyes to, especially at him being the heel that he's being and running a faction. The belt hasn't changed. It just has a different appearance, but it hasn't changed. It's still ran by Okada. He's still the golden boy, and he still has a history with Tanahashi Hiroshi. So they will meet and Hiroshi will fall. Takagi or Naito will go after that belt. They will challenge and they will fall. Hiromu will still beg to be the first junior heavyweight champion to hold that, or junior heavyweight to hold the heavyweight title. He will fail because, you know, New Japan is all about appearances. You wouldn't want a junior to hold your heavyweight title. And you want to talk about old school, New Japan, the weight limit for New Japan was, I think, 120 pounds to 125 pounds. It toggled. If you were 125 or less, you were a junior. If you're 120 and less, you're a junior, okay? So at that point, Ospreay held that title at less than 120 pounds. Naito has always been somewhere in that, 190 to 200 area. Takagi, he's, you just don't know with Takagi. He might be a junior, but he looked like a heavyweight. So they had to kill the weight limits. So it's not a new era. It's not a reboot. It's none of that. It's just a belt. They still, during the title matches, they're going to throw up the history of who held the belt. Every last one of them, Keiji, Chono, Hashimoto. It don't matter. Makabe, Nagata, Kurt Angle, I think Brock Lesnar. It's going to be a lot. Bob Sapp. Yeah, they're all still there. They're all still recognized as International World Grand Prix Heavyweight Champion of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Scott Norton will still be there. Kenny Olivier will still be there. All of them will still be there. There's nothing new. There's nothing different. There's no reboot. So if you want to buy into that, I will not stop you. I just want to keep it real. And keeping it real means it's just a belt that's changed appearance, but not the history and not the future. Because currently the future is still the same person that's dominated for 3 and 4, 5 or 6 years. Because New Japan, just like every other company, do not know how to change properly. If you got any more questions, go ahead and ask. On anything that if anything I upload, just ask it. Just wrestling, if I throw up CR Fire Pro, Pain and Agony Wrestling, or CR Fire Pro Road, or some other commentary, just throw it on in there. Just ask. You don't have to be in an appropriate area or anything like that. And I'm not just saying that to you, Jimmy. It's anybody. All right. I want to be interactive, and I just want to talk to y'all. So with that, y'all stay safe, take care, and see you next time.